On a rainy day, November 13, 1907, the third daughter of King Vittorio Emanuele III of Italy and Elena of Montenegro was born, Giovanna. The girl grew up surrounded by affectionate relatives. She adored playing the piano and learning foreign languages. In 1923, Giovanna and her sister Mafalda contracted typhoid fever. Giovanna vowed to St. Francis that if she and her sister survived, she would make a pilgrimage to Assisi. A year later, the two sisters visited the saint's homeland. Our heroine met the love of her life in Rome when she was a 20-year-old young woman. Boris, the Tsar of Bulgaria, had a passion for physics and the natural sciences. He was fascinated by trains and often drove them. Giovanna was captivated by Boris's melancholic eyes when he came to meet her father. 2 years later, the young couple married in Assisi at the Church of St. Francis. The day was windy, but the newlyweds were so happy that they paid no attention to it. Mussolini personally came to congratulate the couple. He was particularly pleased with this union and secretly dreamed of extending Italy's influence over the Balkans. In Sofia, the couple had a church wedding at Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, and Giovanna was crowned queen. She received an Orthodox icon, which she always kept with her. The couple had 2 children, Maria Luisa and Simeon. However, difficult times were approaching for Europe. The Tsar of Bulgaria had to decide whose side he would take. This decision was not easy for him, but in 1941, he chose to ally with Hitler. He feared the Bolsheviks, who he believed might destroy his family if they occupied Bulgaria. At the same time, he did not want to declare war on the USSR or kill Jews, so Hitler did not fully trust him. Boris and Giovanna helped 43,000 Jews escape from Bulgaria. Remaining under house arrest by the communist government until 1946, Queen Giovanna and her children were forced into exile, joining her father, also in exile, in Egypt, then Madrid, and finally Portugal, where she spent the rest of her life. Now, let's take a look at the treasures of the Queen of Bulgaria. Queen Giovanna possessed some impressive jewels, including an Art Deco-style pearl and diamond tiara. When Princess Giovanna of Savoy married Tsar Boris III of Bulgaria in 1930, she received this magnificent pearl and diamond tiara as a wedding gift from her parents, King Vittorio Emanuele III and Queen Elena of Italy. The new Bulgarian queen wore the tiara for a portrait shortly after her marriage, and it was taken into exile in the 1940s. In 1993, Queen Giovanna's daughter-in-law, Tsaritsa Margarita, wore the pearl and diamond tiara at the wedding ball of Duke Friedrich of Württemberg and Princess Marie of Wied at Altshausen Castle. The Bulgarian royal family is closely connected to the House of Württemberg through Queen Giovanna's daughter-in-law, who married a member of the Württemberg royal family. Earlier that same year, the pearl and diamond tiara of Queen Giovanna was worn by Dona Carla Maria de la Soledad Roya Villanova y Urestarazu when she married Kubrat, Prince of Panegyristi, the third son of Tsar Simeon and Tsaritsa Margarita. In 1996, Dona Miriam de Hungria y Lopez wore the pearl and diamond tiara of Queen Giovanna when she married Kardam, Prince of Turnovo, the eldest son of Tsar Simeon and Tsaritsa Margarita. Queen Giovanna's pearl and diamond tiara was most recently worn by Princess Alexandra von Kohary, daughter of Bulgarian Princess Maria Luisa and the only granddaughter of Queen Giovanna in the female line, when she married Jorge Champalimord Raposo de Mogalés in 1999. After Queen Giovanna's death in 2000, the whereabouts of the pearl and diamond tiara became unknown. It is likely no longer in the possession of the main royal family line, as it has not been seen at any royal events in the past 2 decades. This absence could also be due to security and transportation issues. Another of Queen Giovanna's treasures is the bracelet bandeau. This bracelet, composed of intertwined antique diamond elements with a large central pearl, is of unknown origin and may have belonged to the House of Savoy or even the royal families of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha or Bourbon-Parma. Queen Giovanna wore the pearl and diamond bracelet as a bandeau shortly after her marriage to Tsar Boris III of Bulgaria in 1930. The pearl and diamond bracelet remained with the royal family in exile and was worn by Princess Maria Luisa, the only daughter of Tsar Boris and Queen Giovanna, at the wedding celebration of Prince Alexander of Yugoslavia and her cousin. In recent years, Queen Giovanna's versatile pearl and diamond bracelet passed to Tsaritsa Margarita, who notably wore it in one of her early portraits and at the wedding of Grand Duchess Maria Vladimirovna of Russia and Prince Franz Wilhelm of Prussia in 1976. Although Tsaritsa Margarita has not worn many family heirlooms in recent years, Queen Giovanna's pearl and diamond bracelet is among the few jewels that have made occasional appearances. Let's move on to a more intriguing piece, one not originally crafted for Queen Giovanna, but one she owned for a long time, the Bulgarian fleur-de-lis tiara. The Bulgarian cockade tiara, featuring sapphires, rubies, and emeralds representing the colors of the Bulgarian flag, along with a series of diamond fleur-de-lis motifs, was a wedding gift from Prince Ferdinand of Bulgaria to his bride, Princess Maria Luisa of Parma, the daughter of Robert I, Duke of Parma, in 1893. She first wore the tiara on her wedding day and frequently appeared in official portraits and paintings until her early death in 1899. The tiara is flexible, with the option to wear just the base or to wear the fleur-de-lis elements as brooches. The next to wear the cockade tiara was Princess Giovanna of Savoy when she married Tsar Boris III of Bulgaria, son of Tsar Ferdinand and Princess Maria Luisa, in 1930. Queen Giovanna wore the tiara on her wedding day and at various official events throughout her husband's reign, which ended with his mysterious death a few days after meeting Hitler in 1943. After the abolition of the Bulgarian monarchy in 1946, Queen Giovanna took her jewels into exile and wore the cockade tiara at numerous formal events in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. In 1957, Queen Giovanna lent the cockade tiara to her only daughter, Princess Maria Luisa, for her wedding to Prince Karl of Leiningen in Cannes, solidifying its reputation as a bridal tiara. When Dona Margarita Gomez Acebo y Sewela married Tsar Simeon in 1962, the cockade tiara passed to Queen Margarita, who first wore it on her wedding day in Switzerland and later donned the tiara at various balls throughout the 1960s. Although they sold some of their other jewels over the years, the Bulgarian cockade tiara is reportedly still in the possession of the Tsar and Tsaritsa, who returned to Bulgaria in the 2000s when the Tsar briefly served as the Prime Minister of Bulgaria. However, it is said to be in a fragile state, as it was unable to be loaned to a Bulgarian museum for display a few years ago. The Tsar and Tsaritsa offered the tiara to one of their daughters-in-law to wear at her wedding, but she declined, suggesting they keep it for their daughter, Princess Kalina, who ultimately did not wear the tiara at her wedding. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find detailed photos of these jewels. However, I tried to tell about them as much as possible. Which jewelry did you like the most? Please write in the comments. Thanks for watching. More interesting things are waiting for you. Goodbye.